Hello, good afternoon, coaching mastery for online coaches. How are we all doing today? Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this live, please join me inside of this Zoom room, this Facebook Live, whatever you want to call it, this session, this power hour. This is going to be a good one, right? So please make sure you do come and join me in the room. So we're going to be talking about something very, very interesting today, something that I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to very, very heavily. So if you're watching this live, as always, please let me know that you are live and you're in the room. Make a comment, write something in the comment section, say hello, and so that I can give you a shout out. Who have we got in the room? If you're here watching live, make sure you say something in the comment section. Yes, we have got a couple of TCM Power Rangers joining us in the room. I can immediately see Kerry Boland and Chris Scott. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. So Chris Scott in the house saying, hey Liam, well done for yesterday. Amazing. Appreciate that, Chris. For those of you that don't know, yesterday, myself and Lewis Raymond Taylor, my friend and business partner, we were invited to speak at Coach Expo 2022 alongside the greats such as Les Brown, Gabby Bernstein, Dean Graziosi, Marissa Peer, and also the big man himself, Tony Robbins. You know, it was quite a big thing yesterday because, you know, I've been listening to Tony Robbins for years. I first read Notes to a Friend, which is just an amazing book that he wrote many years ago. And it's a very small book, but it's one of those books that's just like, it just hits it home, right? The kind of mindset that you need to have. If you've not yet read Notes to a Friend, it's called Notes to a Friend or Notes from a Friend. I can't remember, but it's a Tony Robbins book and it's absolutely phenomenal. The very encouraging thing is that when I read it for the first time, I was going through it and I was thinking, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Nothing was really alien to me or nothing was revolutionary, but it was a confirmation that the mindset that I was developing at the time made sense to me. So if you haven't read that book yet, definitely read it. But yeah, no, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that, mate. It's really, really cool to be invited to speak at Coach Expo alongside Tony Robbins, someone who I've admired for many years, even before I became a coach. You know, when I first went on my personal development, self-development journey, years before I even knew that coaching was going to be the thing for me. So I appreciate you, mate. Yes, TCM Power Ranger, Kerry Boland. Boom, 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 boom. In the house, Kerry Boland, going from strength to strength. Just doing some amazing things in the early stages of her coaching business. Absolutely love it. And Kerry B in the house. Yes, awesome. And Kerry is going to just plow through any adversities that are put in her way. And she is going to create a path to success. And she's already doing it. And I can see it happening already. It's not even a case of me going, oh, it's going to happen. I can see it like it's already happening. So yes, we got Melinda Smith in the house. Glad to see you here, Melinda Smith and Monica Dobruck. It's really awesome to see you guys who are here consistently watching Power Hour, TCM TV. I love you guys that turn up and support me every single week. It's really, really cool. Yes, Monica Dobruck, the merch queen. We got Kirsty Garner in the house as well, saying hello. Hello, Kirsty Garner. Kim Parrott is joining us today. Joe Law is joining us today. Claire Davey is with us today. Viadas is here. Sade Hislop says, yo, 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 bro, Sade, that rock star. She is here, representing all rock stars around the world. Akeisha Graham is in the house. Glenn Keenan is in the house. Michelle Shulu is in the house. Jim Lutz is here. Mihaela Anchor is here. I love it. I love it. Dr. Joe in the house. We've got loads of people tuning in for today's episode of Power Hour. Now, guys, this is going to be quite an interesting one today. This is going to be a bit of a shorter episode. It's going to be a little bit more like Power half an hour, right? Because it's probably going to be about 30 minutes. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. This is going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to really relate to on many, many, many different levels, right? Now, just to remind ourselves of the title of the episode. The title of the episode is Thinking About Becoming a Coach, ? Thinking about becoming a coach. I guarantee you have this pain. Now, as you guys know who are listening to this on the podcast, I like to record these episodes completely live inside of one of our groups. And so therefore, I like to get feedback, immediate feedback from the people that are watching this completely live. So of course, there are going to be a lot of people that are not only thinking about becoming a coach, but of course, there are going to be lots of people watching me live right now who are already coaches. Hence the reason as to why you are here as part of the Coaching Masters, because you have already taken that step and taken that leap towards becoming a coach, right? However, even having said that, let me know in the comments, are you a coach already? Are you training to be a coach? Are you thinking about becoming a coach? Because this is going to relate to all of you, right? It's not just going to relate to those people that are just thinking about it. It's not like this is going to be unrelatable the moment you become a coach. This is going to be just as relatable even after you have already qualified, you're already seeing clients, and you, on an identity level, already consider yourself to be a coach, right? So let me know in the comments, are you a coach? Are you training to be a coach? Are you thinking about becoming a coach? Let me know. So we've got Dr. Joe says, I'm already a coach. Kim says, I'm training and I'm loving it. Mihaela says, already a coach. Sade, I am a coach. Jim, already a coach. Glenn, fully accredited and certified coach right here with TCM, no doubt. Kerry, I am a coach. Melinda, I am already a coach. Monica, I am already a coach. Emilise, I hope you're feeling better, Liam. Yes, I am feeling a lot better. I appreciate that. TCM Power Ranger Emilise, love that. Claire Davey says, I have just passed my health and wellness coaching this morning, so I done one-to-one fieldwork. Awesome, Claire. Congratulations. Let's get some golden love hearts in the comments for Claire Davey. That's awesome. Akisha says, I'm a coach. Chris, I'm a coach. Viadas, training to be. Week 12 accreditation tomorrow. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, like I mentioned, the title of today's episode is Thinking About Becoming a Coach. I guarantee you have this pain. Now, I'm not just going to be talking about one pain, right? I'm going to be talking about various different pains that I have come to discover over my years of being in the coaching space. Emily's in there as well. I am a coach. Viadas, I'm a coach. Love it. I'm going to be talking about a few pains which I can guarantee that you will relate to on some level, even if it's just one of them. Right? I can guarantee you will relate to at least one of these pains. Now, I'm going to be talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pains, right? 6 pains. Now, these 6 pains, the reason why I'm talking about them is because these are the 6 pains that we have come to discover the majority of our students feel or have felt at some stage, and that is the reason as to why they wanted to embark upon one of our courses. These pains initially are the reasons as to why they want to become a coach and study at the Coaching Masters. So even if you've qualified as a coach, you will relate to this, right? Pain number 1, not feeling fulfilled. Let me know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, if you relate to that in any way, right? Not feeling fulfilled, did that or did that not in one way contribute towards wanting to become a coach? Mihaela says, don't send us into hospital, Liam. Don't worry. You know, these pains, these are things that can still drive us forward to this day. These pains are motivators. They're not like the pain that I had in my intestine 2 weeks ago that actually took me to hospital. These are more internal, emotional pains that think, God, I want to overcome that. I want something different. And I want to create a change, right? So already in the comments, we've just gone, yes, 100%, yes, massively, absolutely. Now, I knew for a fact that the vast majority of you would relate to that. Now, how did I know that? I knew that because the reason that I know about these 6 pains is because out of all of the thousands and thousands of people that we've qualified to become coaches over the last 3 years, these are statistically the 6 pains that the vast majority of our students feel or have felt at some point throughout their journey, and they were the catalysts for wanting to become a coach. So long story short, we actually just surveyed everyone, right? We put surveys out there, we put questionnaires out there, we do one-to-one interviews. We care very deeply about our students, right? We care very, very deeply about what our students are thinking and feeling and what it is they want and their reasons for wanting to study with us. And the number one pain, right? This is the one that's top of the list. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the one that people will relate to the most, but it, in all honesty, it probably will be. But not being fulfilled. Not feeling like what you currently do in your current life, in your current profession is fulfilling you. Now, feeling fulfilled is a very, very interesting sensation. It's an interesting emotion. It's a very interesting feeling. You know, and if we want to use an analogy, if we take a glass or a vase and that thing is only filled a little bit, maybe 25%, a quarter of the way, then that thing is not fulfilled, which means what have we got? We've got a lot of emptiness. And emptiness is not something that we like to experience as human beings. When we have a sense of emptiness, we like to try to fill that void. So when we are not fulfilled, it means we're not filled. Therefore, we are somewhat partly empty. And that means that there is a void. Let me know, have you experienced this? Now, I know that like a lot of you guys have said, yeah, that was a big pain for me. That's why I wanted to become a coach. Now, let's relate it to that because this is what we're talking about today. The feeling of being unfulfilled driving you towards wanting to become a coach. And I want to try to talk a little bit about the link that's created there, right? Because when there's that sense of emptiness in our personal lives or our professional lives, what we do for a job, our careers, our relationships, what we do on a daily basis, then what we're really feeling and what we're really staring at is we're staring at the void. We're feeling the void and we're trying to find things to fill that void. Now, a lot of the time, the reason why we have this sense of being unfulfilled in the job that we have or just on a daily basis, what we do day by day, a lot of the time it's because we don't truly believe that it's one in line with our values, right? We don't really believe that what we're doing is completely in line with what we deem to be important. And secondly, on some deep level, because it's not in line with our values, the chances are we are not being of value, right? We're not being of value to other people. And that's a common thing. You know, we can actually spend lots and lots of days and lots of years and lots of hours and lots of energy and exert lots of energy and work very, very hard working towards something that doesn't align with our values and therefore we feel is not adding value to people's lives, hence creating the emptiness. So once again, just let me know in the comments if you feel that in any way, right? If you can relate to that, if you look back on a particular career that you've had or a job that you've had, and maybe you did that thing for years on end, day in, day out, looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to your next holiday, but knowing that all of the hours that you're spending inside of that place doing that thing is not filling the void. No matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours you put in, no matter how many customers you speak to, no matter how much money you make your managers, no matter how many paychecks you take home, it's not filling the fucking void. And it's not filling that void because it's unfulfilling. It's not in line with your true values. And therefore, because it's not in line with your true values, you cannot ever really truly believe that you are of value to another person. When we do something that is completely in line with our values and is completely in line with what's important to us, we cannot not be valuable to another person. We cannot not be of service to them. It's almost by accident. It's almost like a byproduct. I'll give you a great example of this, right? I believe this is an honest, totally open, transparent belief that I have about myself. This is one of the most empowering beliefs I have about me, right? I truly believe that when you put me on stage, I'm unmatched. I don't think anyone can match me. I think I can deliver a talk on stage that is as motivational, as driven, as energetic, and as vibrant and as full of electricity and value, better than anyone else in the world. And because that is completely in line with my values and my beliefs, right? Putting me up on stage and getting me to deliver a talk is in line with my beliefs in the sense that I believe I'm very, very good at that. And it's also in line with my values because I highly value that element and that type of communication. Speaking one to many in front of a huge audience where I can deliver one talk and affect 1,000 lives. That type of efficiency, I highly value. That type of communication and being able to add value to people's lives en masse, right? I highly value. And because of that, if I stand up on stage and I talk about something that I'm passionate about, or I think is going to be very useful, or something I think is packed with golden nuggets of information, I inevitably, as a byproduct, will be of value to the people that are listening to me, almost by accident. However, me, the exact same person, I can tell you right now from experience, if you put me in a situation which I believe is not in line with my values, and it's something that I genuinely believe as a limiting belief is something that I'm not very good at or that I don't enjoy doing, I can tell you right now, I'm of service to fucking no one. No one, right? I'm not immune to that in any way. I'm not good at everything. And far from it, right? Trust me, far from it. I, just like everyone else, can be put in a situation where if it is not in line with my values and it's not something I truly believe that I'm very good at or that I enjoy, no one's going to get value from me, right? We're all the same. In reality, we're all the same. We just need to find what that thing is. So just to go back to this, I'm spending a little bit more time on this one than the others, just because it really is probably the most important one. There is a reason as to why you have been driven to wanting to become a coach. And that is because the idea of being able to help other people through the medium of conversation, coaching conversations, coaching structure, being able to help people break down their limiting beliefs, increase their confidence, achieve their goals, feel good about themselves, and therefore become a better version of themselves. The idea of being able to do that in a setting that you find comfortable, i.e. at home through Zoom, whilst being in your own space and being able to inspire people in the way that you would like to inspire them based on adversities that you've experienced in the past. Just being a coach, it's just, I say this stuff often, but really it's good to remind ourselves what a coach is, right? Now that's what a coach is. So at some point, you've come to the realization that that is the stuff that you're going to be able to really relate to. And therefore, it's what you value, it's in line with your values, it's in line with your beliefs. And if I do that, I'm going to feel more fulfilled. And you're right. You're in the right place, studying towards the right career, or you're carving a pathway out in the right place, the right career. So not feeling fulfilled, right? I can guarantee, like we've mentioned, that is going to have been a pain that was experienced at some point. Pain number 2, not making enough money. Right? Now, money's a really interesting topic. Money is one of my favorite topics. And I'll tell you why it's one of my favorite topics, because it's interesting in the way that everyone, that's an NLP thing, isn't it? Do I really mean everyone? Well, yeah, in a sense, I do mean everyone. Everyone has their own version of what money is, right? Everyone has their own viewpoint of what money is, and therefore their own beliefs around money, whether or not those beliefs are limiting or empowering. And those viewpoints and those beliefs have been developed through past experiences. All beliefs are developed through past experiences, right? We're not born with our set of beliefs. We're born with a set of traits that develop, right? You'll notice this, and there's loads of different studies that you can read up on in terms of identical twins, right? There's this absolutely phenomenal documentary, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called 3 Identical Strangers. And it's about these triplets that were split up at birth. But what was really phenomenal is the similarities that these triplets had when they all found each other in their adulthood. I think not quite in their adulthood. They were like early teenagers or late teenagers. If you haven't seen it yet, go and see this documentary called 3 Identical Strangers. It will blow your mind, right? But anyway, what I'm trying to say about that, the reason I'm bringing that up is because there are certain things that naturally are instilled within us, right? But beliefs aren't one of them, right? Beliefs aren't one of them. We learn our belief system, and we learn that belief system based upon past experiences, mentors, teachers, things we hear, things we see. And so because of that, everyone has a different belief system around money, right? Now, the reason it's one of my favorite topics is because I believe money, right? What they are is they're these freedom tokens. The more of these tokens that I have, the more freedom that I have, the more I'm able to travel, the more, if I'm in a bad situation, I could pay for private healthcare. If I'm in a sticky situation, I can just pay for a driver to get me out of the scenario. If I'm in a dangerous situation, I can pay for security and protection. If I want to have a bigger house to be able to move around in, I can have a bit of a bigger house, a bigger garden to play with the kids. It's like, if you really think about it, it's like these little tokens that we know as money. If I can just have as many of that as possible, then I have freedom of choice and I have more choices. More choices are available to me. So in my head, as far as a belief system goes when it comes to money, some people are brought up with the idea that like money is the root of all evil and all rich people are assholes and stuff like this. And that's going to be a belief system that was handed down to them by someone else who had their own experiences with money. But honestly, like, I can't explain the ease of the viewpoint that money are freedom tokens. And then if I can get as many of those freedom tokens as possible, then I've got more choices, right? So anyway, when it comes to not having enough money, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because it can be like a bit of a weird topic, right? It can be a little bit like of a taboo topic, but it completely removes the taboo when you stop talking about money and you start talking about freedom tokens. It's like the taboo is no longer there anymore. It's like, how many freedom tokens do you make in a year? Oh, I make like 50,000 freedom tokens. Oh, interesting. I make 70,000 freedom tokens. Oh, that's pretty cool. What sort of different level of freedom do you get? Oh, well, it's quite good. It means that like I kind of got like a slightly bigger garden to play with the kids. Oh, that sounds something that I would like to aspire towards. Freedom tokens is just like a totally different conversation all of a sudden, right? So anyway, the second pain is that a lot of people that start to become a coach is because currently they're not making enough freedom tokens, right? They're not making enough money. And because of the way that I view money as freedom tokens, I am of the viewpoint that I want to inspire people to try to make as many of those things as they can, because I know it is psychologically and emotionally a very good thing to have choice, right? So what I'm always saying is at the Coaching Masters, me personally and my business, the Coaching Masters, I have zero problem with saying I want to make as much money as I personally and professionally can whilst helping as many people as I can, because I know that is a direct correlation. And I'm saying it all the time. The more value you add to people's lives, the more money you make, right? So I want there to be this direct correlation between, right, Liam, what you need to focus on is just focus on and helping as many people as you can and add as much value to their lives as possible. And as a byproduct, you'll make more freedom tokens and have more freedom. So I want to encourage this, right? When people are like, you know what, one of the reasons why I want to become a coach is because at the moment, I don't make as much money as what I would like. And I feel strongly that I could make more money by coaching people because I'm going to be of more value to them. It's going to be a lot more in line with my values and my beliefs. I'm going to feel more fulfilled. Therefore, I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to have more focus. I'm going to want to do that more than what I'm currently doing in my current job. Therefore, I'm going to be more value. I'm going to make more money. So let me know and be completely open and honest about this. You could say no to this. I don't relate to this one. And that is 100% pure magic. That's cool because that's you. And then in the same instance, you could be like, I totally get it, right? I 100% totally get it. Let me know in the comments if this was also a pain that you have experienced. Like, I want to become a coach because I want to make more money. And if the answer is no, I love you because you know what you want and what you don't want. And if the answer is yes, I love you too, because let's go get it, right? Let's go get that money. Now, for those people that are like, yep, I get it, I feel it, you know, that is 100% a pain that I want to be able to overcome because I don't make enough money right now and I want to make more of it, right? I want more freedom tokens. In the comments, Glenn Keenan says, we all want more freedom tokens. Damn right we want more freedom tokens. You know what? Because we want more choice, because choice is freedom. So embrace it, feel it. Now, for you guys, the one bit of advice I'm going to give you is the same bit of advice I've given for years. What we want are the freedom tokens, right? But what we must focus on is the value that we're adding to other people's lives in order to get the freedom tokens. Don't just focus on the freedom tokens. That's the byproduct. That's the end result. That ultimately is what we want, right? And that is ultimately what you will get. But you will only get that, right? You'll only get the money when you put all of your focus into how can I add value to people's lives? And I'm talking maximum value. How can I be of complete and utter high value service to the individuals that I am coaching, right? Every time you bring on a new client, take that responsibility so fucking seriously. Like so serious that you're like, I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that this person's life is considerably better because of having met me and hired me, right? That's my job. That's my responsibility. I'm not going to focus on whether or not they're going to sign up for another 3 months. I'm not going to think, oh, well, you know what? Okay, brilliant. I banked that client. Now I've got to try to go and find the next one, right? Don't think about that like that. That's like the working on the business stuff that you've got ticking in the back of your mind because logistically you're running a business. But your primary focus needs to be, how can I absolutely ensure that this person's life is considerably better and will be considerably better because they met me and then they hired me. And if you're thinking like that every single time, then what will happen is that you will become a better coach, your reputation will grow, and in general, just whether or not you believe in the universe, vibration, the law of sympathetic resonance, at the end of the day, you will be rewarded for that, right? You absolutely will, because your energy will be focused in the right direction. Your reticular activating system, which is that part of your brainstem, which allows you to see opportunities that were always there, but once you were blind to them based on your beliefs, all of a sudden, if you put all of your focus into adding value to your clients' lives, you're going to see all of these opportunities to like bring on more clients. They're just there. Been talking a lot recently actually with Chris Scott. Chris, who is a recent TCM Power Rangers who signed up to the uni package. The reticular activating thing is happening for Chris right now. He's messaging me a couple of times going, can't believe it. Like, I've had this one conversation and it's led to this opportunity and then that led to this opportunity and now I've seen this person. And it's like, that is how it works, right? When you put your focus into bettering your life and the lives of the people around you and adding value to the lives of your clients, all these opportunities start going, and then all of a sudden you get to a point where you struggle not to see the opportunities. There comes a point where you're like, I can't see anymore because I've got too many to focus on, right? So, you know, and Kerry Boland as well. Kerry's the same. Kerry, TCM Power Ranger, uni student. She's just like, this is happening, that's happening, this is happening. You know what? You've put yourself out of your comfort zone. Like, big shout out to Kerry and Chris. Like, they're two of our most recent TCM uni students and most recent TCM Power Rangers, which for those of you that don't know, if you sign up to the TCM uni package, you become a Power Ranger. Boom, which is cool enough. But you put yourself out of your comfort zone, your reticular activating system is now firing off left, right, and center, and you're seeing these opportunities. So yeah, not having enough money, right? That is an absolutely valid reason to say, fuck this thing that's not in line with my values or my beliefs. I'm going to go and become a coach. I'm going to go and help people. I'm going to go and actually add value to their lives. Then all of a sudden, you're putting yourself in a position where you're able to make a lot more money as long as your focus is adding value to their lives. Pain number 3, restriction in what it is you currently do. Let me know in the comments in terms of your current job, your current career, your current position, you know, or maybe it's even within your current circumstances in your personal life, whether it's your relationships or it's where you live or it's what you do with your friends or what your hobbies are, whatever, right? Just a sense of restriction. I feel restricted in my job. I feel restricted in my relationship. I feel restricted in my home. I feel restricted in my friendship circle. Restriction is a big pain. It's a big emotional driver for people wanting to become a coach. Let me know in the comments, do you also relate to that one? On one way or another. Now, some of you that are watching this live, you may be like, you know what? Fucking hell, I relate to all of them. I relate to everything you're saying. And if that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because don't forget, these are the main top 6 pains that people have been experiencing and the reason as to why they came to the coaching masters. So you may end up relating to all of them, honestly. So restriction. Now I've got like very strong viewpoint on restriction, but it's also very clear in my head. But it is clear to me that it's not clear to the rest of the world, because in my head, I am baffled by the idea that not everybody thinks this way. Yet at the same time, of course, as an NLP trainer, I have absolute clarity around the fact that everybody's map of the world is different based on their own values and their beliefs and their upbringing. And therefore, we will see the world in a slightly different way. However, having said that, personally, and this may be a flaw of mine, I still struggle with the idea that not everybody sees this way, right? To me, there is a very, very obvious correlation between the fact that human beings, really what they need is expression, not repression. It just seems so obvious to me. And I'm sure people within this community and people that are looking to become coaches will also understand the basis of that, right? Maybe not. And I'm always open to hearing another viewpoint because that's an opportunity to learn. But sometimes what I like to try to do is I like to try to zoom right out and look at things from a bird's eye view and just look at things like very, very high level, right? Not getting into the nitty gritty details of things, but just looking at things very high level. And if I look at the world from a very high level and I look at the human race from a high level, what I see in that instance is I kind of almost see like, this sounds awful, right? But for lack of a better term, like an ant farm, right? Like if you imagine, if you could zoom right out and you're in outer space and you look down on the earth and you see each individual person, it kind of would look a little bit like an ant farm. It's kind of like people just kind of running around and sort of in groups, and then certain groups, if they end up getting into the same place, they're going to fight, and then some love each other and they reproduce, and there's like people go into work every day and sort of carrying a heavy thing on their back, and it's like boo-boo, and I just sort of see that. And so when I look very high level and I look at the human race, with all of the things that make us different and all of the things that make us completely unique, and all of the reasons as to why everybody's viewpoint is like completely different. In reality, I think for the most part, a human responds considerably better to expression versus repression. It just seems so fucking obvious. Like if we repress someone, right, what we're doing is we are repressing them, we're restricting them, we're suffocating them, we're keeping them closed in, right? When we repress someone based on their race or their sexuality or their anything, right? Their gender. When we repress someone, that is the opposite as to what a human being is going to respond well to. A human being needs expression. They need freedom. They need movement. They need to be able to say what they're thinking and feeling, and they need to be able to get it off their chest. Now, of course, there's like a caveat here, because it's like, where does the circle end, right? Where does the circle end? Because when it comes to like, you know what, human beings need expression, they need freedom, and therefore to be able to go where they want, do what they want, and say what they want. The second that then falls into the realm of repressing another person, then that's just as good as repression. In reality, that's just as good as repression. Because then if someone's like, yeah, but hang on a minute, I'm like expressing myself here. And by expressing myself, what I feel like I really need to say is I absolutely fucking hate that type of group of person. It's like, whoa, you're back into repression mode here, sunshine. Because we're talking about freedom and expression, but now you're going back into the realms of using that freedom and expression for repression. Anyway, restriction. That was, it kind of went off on like a little bit of a tangent there. But in my mind, it's just like repression versus expression. Expression is going to win every fucking time in my book, right? But anyway, we have felt this feeling of repression. We felt this feeling of restriction, right? We felt this feeling of suffocation on some level, not being heard, not being understood, not being listened to, not being able to express what we're thinking, what we're feeling, spread our wings, and actually do things that are going to allow us to fucking breathe and shout and scream and shout it from the rooftops and do something where we feel like we're actually expressing ourselves and being ourselves and talking from our perspective and not wearing a mask or not putting clown makeup on in order to fit in with the fucking band. Just being us, right? Just being pure 100% us. That is something that a lot of people have moved into the coaching space because they're like, I feel restricted. I feel restricted in all these various different elements of my life. So now I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to get this off my chest. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to spread my wings. I don't want to be restricted anymore. I felt so restricted in different points of my life. So restricted. You know, I felt very restricted when I was a young man. I always wanted to try to live by myself. I always wanted to just get into my adulthood ASAP and go and spread my wings and actually sort of have my own space. I felt very restricted in certain jobs that I had. I've had like really shitty cold calling jobs when I was delivering the post, and I walked the same route every day. When I used to be a lifeguard and I'd sit there and I couldn't leave my chair. when I was a barman and it was like 3:00 in the morning and I've got people shouting in my face. I've had loads of like repressive, restrictive jobs and situations. And that was a big driver for me in terms of wanting to become a coach so that I could just do this thing the way that I want to do it, right? And this, what you're witnessing now, this is the way that I like to do it. I like to just speak from my mind, speak from my heart, add value in areas that I know a lot about. And so I can imagine as well, let me know in the comments, is that also a driver for you and one reason as to why you wanted to become a coach? Because a feeling of restriction. Let me know. Was there a sense of restriction, repression, suffocation? And you're like, I want to fucking do something different. I want to do something I don't feel all of that stuff. And then you found coaching and you found the coaching masters. Let me know in the comments. Do you relate to that one? The fourth major pain that we know that a lot of people have experienced upon wanting to become a coach, not giving their family the life they deserve. This is a big one. This is a strong one. This is a very, very strong one. Our family are huge motivators for us. Now, that's going to mean something different to everybody, right? When I say family, what I mean my wife, Claudia, and my daughter, Posey. That's what I mean when I say family. There's no one else in my mind that I think about when I'm like, my family. I want to do it for my family. It's my wife and it's my daughter. It's our little 3-person family unit that live within this apartment that we live in, right? That's my family. Now, family is going to mean something completely different to everybody. There are going to be people that are listening to this that don't even have any biological bloodline family, but their family are their best friends. Their family are maybe their pets. Their family are their work colleagues who they love very much. Who knows? There are going to be people who think about their brother, their sister, their parents. There are going to be all sorts of different types of family. But in general, it doesn't really matter what that word means for you. In general, that happens to be a very, very strong pain that people experience, is not giving their family their life that they think they deserve or that they know they deserve. And once again, let me know in the comments, do you relate to that one? Do you relate to that one? Do you think, you know what, my partner deserves more? My partner does so much, he or she does so much. They give so much. They're so loving. They're so selfless. And I just want to be able to give them the things that they want and go to the places that they want and that they deserve. My kids, they've grown up. Maybe there's been a difficult time or there have been difficult situations and they have felt restriction. They felt some suffocation. I want to give them the world. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your siblings. But there's a strong sense of, my family, I want to be able to give them more. And therefore, I'm not ever going to be able to do that when I'm working this fucking job, this 9 to 5, this dead end scenario where I'm not fulfilled. I'm not serving anyone. I'm not making enough money. And I'm going to be doing this day in, day out until the day that I die. How am I going to give them these things that they want? Now, there's like a caveat to that, right? Because this comes in 2 parts. This comes in emotion and logistics, right? Everyone write this down. Emotion and logistics. Emotionally, you don't need anything but you to be able to give them what it is they want and what it is they need. Because one thing that we absolutely underestimate a lot of the time is that our loved ones are happy with the fact that we're just there, right? We're there, we're present, we're alive, we're breathing. They want kisses, they want cuddles. They want to be told that they're loved by you on a regular basis. And a lot of the time, it's stuff that really doesn't cost any of those freedom tokens, right? There's not even an emotional cost. There's no cost. In fact, there is an immediate return on whatever investment that goes into that, because that means your relationships get stronger, your family bond gets stronger, people within your unit are happier, and there is no money in the world that is needed in order to be able to create an emotional bank that you can give to your family members by just being present and not being so distracted all the time and not constantly looking at your phone and not constantly worried about the next day at work or the next day in your business or the fact that that client didn't turn up for a session or that this client hasn't paid you yet and there's bills to pay. All of that stuff is a genuine distraction, right? Electricity bills going up, gas bills going up, the fucking petrol's going up. But you have the power and the ability in any moment that you choose to temporarily, and it will be temporary because life is a real thing, to temporarily make the decision that for a certain period of time, you are actively and consciously going to choose to not think about any of that stuff. And instead, you are just going to be solely present with your family, with your kids, with your loved ones, your parents, your other half. And you're going to actively make the decision to do nothing but look at their face and study their face and notice things about their face that you've never seen before, even if they're your own kids, because you realize, God, I've not done this since they were born. I've not just stopped and looked at them and stared at them and just thought, wow, you are incredible, and just given them my full, wholehearted attention, right? Now, you're going to do that. Make sure you do that. That's one way that you can give your family what they deserve. Then, on the flip side of that coin, there are the logistics. There are the things that cost those freedom tokens. There are the things that cost that money. And you know what? We should fucking strive to make more of those freedom tokens, to go and dish them out to our loved ones and our family and say, boom, have some freedom tokens. Let's go on a nicer holiday. Let's get a bigger house. Let's go for a fucking adventure. Let's go to a place where we can just do nothing but just be in each other's company for like a month, right? Boom, freedom tokens are very helpful in that instance. So anyway, that's another driver that people have to wanting to become a coach, right? Because they know that as a result, not only will they feel fulfilled, not only will they no longer be restricted, but the fact that they will be able to make more money will allow them to give their family what they believe they deserve. And at the same time, the way that they're able to develop their own mindset as a coach, they're also able to actively spend a bit more present time with their families. That's a big one. Number 5, pain number 5, not being appreciated. Not being appreciated. This is a big one, right? Let me know in the comments, can you relate to that in any way? You wanted to become a coach because you knew on some level, you were like, I'm not appreciated doing what I'm doing with the people that I'm with in this place right here. Now, for those that have studied NLP under me, you'll notice that I'm actively being very unspecific about the words that I'm using there, because it's for you to fill in the blanks, right? It's not for me to tell you what part of our life we feel unappreciated. It's for you to fill in the blanks. But can you relate to that in any way where you're like, you know what? I feel unappreciated doing what I'm doing with the people that I'm with in the place that I'm in, right? Doing people place. Let me know on any level, have you felt unappreciated in that scenario? And then you're like, there's something more that I can do. There's something better that may help me change this scenario. Whether it's put me in a different scenario or whether it's helped me change the one that I'm currently in. And that thing is coaching. That's what I'm able to do. I'm able to develop my own mindset, break down my own limiting beliefs, increase my own confidence, shift my own perspective, and at the same time, build a career out of that where I help other people do the same thing. Being unappreciated is a huge driver for people, and it really does bring a lot of people to the Coaching Master's door, where they're like, you know what? I feel really unappreciated where I am and who I'm with and what I'm doing. And I want to do something more. I want to do something else. So let me know in the comments if that one really, really does ring true for you. For sure, in so many different areas, for me, mainly professionally, I've had that strong sense of unappreciation, like really strong sense. And there is no doubt that I was drawn to coaching because of that fifth pain, that pain of unappreciation for sure. Now, the 6th and final pain, the feeling that you are not using your gifts, your talents, the feeling that you have something more and it's not being unlocked, it's not being used, it's not being utilized. Let me know if you relate to that as well, that deep down, even if our own limiting beliefs sometimes stop us from admitting this, right? Even if deep down, our own limiting beliefs will stop us from believing that we are special, that we are unique, that we do have talents, that we do have skills. I want you to just rip the fucking lid off that right now. Rip the lid off that limiting belief, because I am giving you wholehearted, absolute permission for you to admit just to yourself that you have amazing talents and gifts that have maybe not yet been discovered. and are not being utilized, or maybe were not being utilized before you discovered coaching. And through coaching, you think, I can finally exercise these gifts. Whatever those gifts are, and it's not my place to determine what they are, right? That's for you to fill in those blanks, whatever those gifts are. But it may be that you're a great listener. It may be that you're empathetic. It may be that you're good at strategizing around a problem or finding a solution. It may be that you're able to instill confidence in another person. It may be that you're able to just fucking believe in that person that you're talking to, and no one else has ever admitted that they believe in them before. Who knows? I'm plucking these out of thin air because these are ones that we generally will hear. But it's down to you. You know what your gifts are, right? You know what your talents are. I'll give you once again a great example of this, and I come back to the same example, but because I can only really talk about it from my perspective, so I have to use my own examples. I have a gift at being able to communicate in this way, to be able to think, right, I just know a lot about this topic, so I'm not going to plan it. I just need a couple of bullet points and I'm away. You fucking open the doors, let me out, and that's it. I'm going to go and take everyone down in a positive way. But I know that that's my gift, right? And I really did know deep down that I had that gift. And when I was standing there delivering the fucking mail, listening to the same bullshit music every day after day after day after day, not talking to anyone, sometimes not even uttering a single word all day, from the moment I started delivering that mail to the moment I got home, I felt very strongly I was not using my gifts, right? I felt very strongly that I had been given something that I could do a lot of good in this world with, and I wasn't using it in any way. And then I thought, I've got to become a coach. I've got to have conversations with people. I've got to be able to actually speak to them and inspire them and motivate them and just ask them the right questions and get their engine moving, right? Now, another thing that I want to use to inspire you is how many people back then do you think would have said, or at least thought, what right does this postman have thinking that he could become an amazing life coach, right? And the reason that I'm throwing that out there is because that, a lot of the time, could be some form of objection that we hear about ourselves, or at least we know people are thinking it. And then that can be a real poisonous drop that can instill within our brain and our mind and stop us from taking action and stop us being an amazing coach. Because we think to ourselves, I know they're thinking it, right? And at the moment, whilst you're doing your training, you might still just be working your 9 to 5. You might still be in your current job. Maybe you finished your training and you're on your journey to get your first few clients, or you're waiting until that point where you've got enough clients that you can quit your job and you're still doing your desk job. You're still doing your day job. And there may be something inside of you where you think, I know the people around me are thinking, who the fuck does she think she is? Or who the fuck does he think he is? Saying that he's going to become a life coach, right? How can they become a life coach when they're still sat here next to me on this desk? How many people do you think thought that about me when I was delivering the mail, right? How many people do you think thought, who the fuck does Liam think he is? He's a postman. And now he's telling everybody that he's going to go and become a life coach. And he's telling everyone he's going to become the most famous life coach in the world. Who is that guy? Who the fuck does he think he is? If that is not an example, a perfect example of you inside of your own head, to at least inside of your own head say, fuck you, trust me, just wait, right? Because I can tell you now from experience, those same people now ask me for a job. I swear to God, those exact same people knock on my door daily asking whether or not I've got a job for them, okay? So, ladies and gents, that 6th one is very important, right? Not using your gifts and your talents, because the real importance of that is that you absolutely have them, right? We don't want to deny that. We don't want to hold back anymore and pretend that we don't. We don't want to use that same bullshit story that was fed to us by someone else saying, well, I'm not really very special. I'm not very unique. I don't have any talents. I can't really help anyone. That thing needs to shut up, right? Because it's just not true. All that is other people's opinions and other people's voices and other people's fears and other people's doubts. And ultimately, what this fucking thing is this is people thinking, oh shit, I hope they don't actually go and become successful because then I'm going to look really bad. That's what that is, right? So it's not true. It's not true. You absolutely have talents. You have gifts. You have things that need to be shared with the world, okay? So that's the first thing we need to understand is you do have them. The second thing is that even in the face of adversity, we need to exercise them. Go and exercise them. Even if you are still in your current job, go out there and tell the world that you are now a coach. Go out there and start helping people. Go out there and start showing people your talents and your gifts in the face of discomfort and in the face of fear and in the face of judgment. Because I can guarantee one thing to you right now, and that is every person that you truly admire who has achieved any form of success or admiration or deserves that admiration, they have experienced the exact same thing at some point. And the only difference is that they moved forward whilst feeling very uncomfortable and very judged. There was never a time where they didn't feel judged or they didn't feel uncomfortable. And you look at them and think, they're so lucky. How amazing would it be, right? How amazing would it be if I also had so much confidence that I wasn't affected by those comments, by that judgment? That doesn't exist. What happens is that those people that have achieved what it is that you want to achieve, that you admire, that have succeeded, they have continued to move forward whilst feeling very fucking uncomfortable and very judged with tons of doubt. And yet at the same time, they've just continuously put one foot in front of the other, sometimes slowly, sometimes trudging through the mud, sometimes a bit quicker, sometimes a bit slower, whatever. But every day they're just like one more step, one more step, one more step, one more step, even in the face of adversity. So just to recap on what we spoke about today, you know what? I never know why I ever think it's going to be a shorter episode. That's like a big flaw of mine, right? I haven't got a clue. I'm always like, this one's probably going to be half an hour, and it never is. But anyway, the 6 major pains that I can guarantee you are at least experiencing one of them, or you have done, if you are thinking about becoming a coach, or you are a coach, is that on some level you have felt unfulfilled. On some level you have felt like you are not making enough money. On some level, you have felt restricted or suffocated. On some level, you feel that you're not giving your family what they deserve. On some level, you're not being appreciated. And or on some level, you know you've got gifts and talents that you're not using and you're not sharing with the world. Or maybe all 6. And I can tell you right now, when I first became a coach, it was all 6, right? And I felt all 6 like heavy burden, okay? Heavy thing to carry. Yet at the same time, I was also correct when I said, I think coaching is going to be this thing that allows me to overcome that, to overcome these pains. Because if I do it right, then I'm going to be able to feel fulfilled. I'll make more money. I'll have more freedom and less restriction. I'll give my family everything they want. I think I could be appreciated, all because I'm able to actually express the talents that I've got. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love you as always. You are powerful, you're valued, you're heard, you're incredible, you're coaching masters. Don't ever let any one of those pains hold you back. In fact, let them drive you forward and really do go out and build these coaching businesses in the way that you know you can. This is what we do at the Coaching Masters. We teach you the steps of how to do it. You just need to follow the steps. The steps are the vehicle. That's the car. The fuel inside the tank of the car is this stuff, what we're talking about right here, right? You can't just have the bare bones of the car. You can't just have the vehicle, and you can't just have the fuel. You got to have the vehicle and the fuel. The vehicle is the Coaching Masters, right? Our membership, our courses, the things that we do to teach you how to go and be a coach and build a coaching business. The fuel is the motivation, it's the drive, it's the pain, it's the desire, it's the emotional drivers, it's the things that we look at and say, that's my reason. That's my fucking reason for doing this. That's why I'm studying towards becoming a coach. That's why I'm trying to build my coaching business, because I want to go and help people. I want to add value to their lives. I want to build a freedom-based business at the same time. So combine those two things. There will be times sometimes when you're studying or you're trying to build your business where you're like, haven't got the fuel, I haven't got the motivation, the drive. And you've got to remember this. And there will be other times where you feel like you've got the fuel, the motivation, the drive, but you don't have the structure. And that just means that you've got to go back and revisit what you've learned from us. Do both of those things and you're going to be in a very, very, very good place. As always, for those listening to this live or on the podcast that have not yet joined the Coaching Masters membership, now's the time. This really isn't the time right now before we blow up and we take things to the next stage. Come and join us whilst there's the opportunity to do so, because that may not be the case forever, right? So join us ASAP. And you can do that by clicking that link in the description of the podcast or the live. Book your completely free strategy call with one of our strategy coaches at TCM. They'll be able to talk to you about the membership, what it entails, how to get you involved. It's literally like $9 a month. It's very cheap, but there's tons of value in there, tons, right? We were even talking about this yesterday at Coach Expo 2022, the biggest coach expo in the world. So anyway, guys, come and join me over for TCM TV if you're already part of the Coaching Masters community. Boom, boom, boom. I love you all. Keep coaching your way to freedom. You're valued, you're heard, and I'll see you over in the Coaching Masters community. Cheers, guys.